Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Longbox. I'm sitting here in the dark, cold basement talking to Vaughn Coleman. How you doing, Vaughn?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right.
I just realized you're in your bedroom. I could, I talked to you a million times and never realized that's your bed.
Yeah. This is my bed.
That's where no girls have ever been, right? So how's it going, Vaughn? I like talking.
It's going all right. It's going all right, man. It's I'm getting new backers every day. It's surely but slowly, but I knew it was coming when I launched in January.
What did Vaughn talk about? Vaughn has a campaign out. So
yeah. It's going surely but slowly. I'm working hard. I'm cabling out my first con. Well, I guess technically I smooched off of a friend, but I didn't have Phenomenova at the time. So it's the first con since getting Phenomenova where I'm tabling. I got a banner and everything, and I will be at a con in Wildwood, New Jersey, and then I'll be at another New Jersey show, Garden State Winterfest, the following weekend. So first two shows this month, so that's fun. And I figured in between, I might as well be working on that second book.
Okay.
I'm like, it's fully lettered. I wasn't able to check them yet, but I got notes back from my editor. So, and I got also, it finally inks in for my issue 3 cover. Sent some revisions, but it's mostly done. So things are slowing down.
You're cranking out. You're already working on issue 3?
Well, that all depends on how much this funds, to be honest with you, like how quick, like issue 3 is going to come out. It's going to happen because I'm passionate. It's just a matter of how quickly can I start production on it, because I have to be realistic. And I'm like, I don't want to, go too crazy right away. So.
Oh, like I did with my comic right away?
I did too. Well, I mean, that's why I don't go too crazy right away again, I should say.
Right. I went crazy with my first issue, and I think I'm being reasonable with my second issue.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of part of it, right? And that's why I mean, some of my
it's exciting. You only get one chance to make your first comic,
Yeah, so it's okay to lose money on your first book. But that's one of the things I say. If you're coming in here like, oh, I'm going to make money, get the hell out of comics. Get out of indie comics. If you're rushing in here to make mad money,
Vaughn, you've seen that ad in old comics, maybe from the 70s, maybe even 60s, of a guy like the boss like, come here, you, and it's photographs. It's like, come here, you, and the boss like, you've been late 7 minutes today, and the guy's like, yeah, well, I got a career in electronics. I quit. And he's like, you, electronics? And then there's an ad for an electronics company. I want to make an ad of that. I'm getting my foreman to take pictures, and it's just like, hey, John, you've been I am making comic books. I don't need you. And it's like, you making comic books? Don't make me. And then the next page is going to be in a hole with a shovel. Like, yeah, I got to get back to work. Comics don't pay the bills.
Well, they don't, but I'd love to one day. But for now, my goal is to make them at least pay for themselves.
Yes.
Which is my goal. But again, you start with an investment.
You have a day job, right? I never
working on it.
Yeah.
Working on finding. That's what I was doing today. Is I was looking for a new day job.
Oh, the only thing worse than working is looking for work, man.
In this economy,
I am so sympathetic.
I'm like, I'll take what I can get in, and it's like, you know what? I'll come back, and if anything, that makes me work harder to try and make this a reality. So, and if anything, it could keep my creativity more pure for the time being. Obviously, I want to sell. I want to do what sells, but so it's been something really cool. What's going on, Nick? How you doing? Yeah, man. But it's been great. The reception of my book has been great.
Your book was good. I backed your book. I read your book. I really enjoyed it.
And now I have to do it again. I have to impress people again.
Your book, and you know my feelings when I say this. Your book had like a 80s, 90s, early 90s look to it. And to me, that's high praise.
Thank you. That's good. Yeah. I know. Because I know 90s, obviously. I know you're a big fan of all 90s art.
Nah. Comics to me peaked in the 80s. You know,
my next
issue, but then I hear you reading Chris Claremont and early X-Men, and you know what I mean. Like,
well, right now I'm on late Claremont, so I'm at 273 is the next issue I have to read.
What year is that?
It is 91, so I'm at the home stretch. I kind of bang the rest out, but I've also been reading all the adjacent titles. Too many Wolverine books, I will say that, because I'm like, I'm reading all the Wolverine adventures, and I would advise people read them if you really want to, but I've been reading all of them just because I was like, I've been completionist so far. A lot of them are just not necessary. And there's also a point where I'm like, there is no way Wolverine with Marvel Comics Presents. I'm like, there's no way Wolverine went on this many adventures between me.
Right. That was a joke back then. I forget if it was in Comic Buyer's Guide or Wizard, but they would make fun of like Wolverine, like, he's his unknown power is quick change artist. He's switching into the tuxedo to be Patch, and then he's putting on the other.
It's ridiculous, and it's like you're telling me also because there's a period of time where like 10 different Wolverine adventures happened where he's with Jubilee and Psylocke, and I'm like, so what are they doing this whole time? Because he keeps going, and apparently these issues are set while he's with Psylocke and Jubilee. So I'm like, so what are their 10 adventures?
I'm curious because I can't claim to remember everything, but is Jim Shooter still editor-in-chief?
No, DeFalco.
That's one thing Jim Shooter was good. He didn't want the characters overexposed. And I know it's funny to talk about realism when we're talking about comic books, but he didn't want like Spider-Man to be in 6 different comics that month because, people think about that. It's Kyle Prometheus. I want to say 2 things about Kyle Prometheus. First, thank you, John and Vaughn, Hotel Phenomenon together because we demand it. Thank you so much. That actually does feel good. No joke. Second, Kyle, I was just talking about Kyle Prometheus. He's the one who did that opening credit, the trailer for me that I absolutely love. So as soon as Renzo does a couple more pages, I'm talking to Kyle, and I want him to do a trailer, and then we'll be ready to launch. And speaking of launch, Nick Axe over here is the guy who built my campaign page for me. He does good work. He's a crazy Canadian. He lives among the ducks, but he does good work. And then Marcus, how you doing, Marcus? We backed both. I don't know if Kyle talks in the royal we or if he's schizophrenic or is this a group.
Either way, it's appreciated.
Either way, either way, it's appreciated. Yes. John makes love to Image Comics every night, sandwiched between 2 young boys. Well, in my defense, it's Lady Supreme and the girls of Gen 13. I'm not a weirdo, okay?
Dude, Witchblade is good, man.
I never read Witchblade. That's one of the few comics from Image.
It's actually good. Like at least the first 40 or so issues, which I have to read 3. I think Witchblade is good.
Should I start at the beginning?
Yes, Michael Turner. Oh my God!
It was Michael Turner. How the hell? So the art's going to be great, but to be honest,
like how
I always just thought it was a TNA book, so I mean,
there's T and there's A, but there's a story, man. It was good. It held my attention.
TNA, but I thought it was just TNA,
I think there's some stuff there.
I'm a red-blooded, healthy American. I like my TNA. Don't get me wrong.
No, yeah, I get it because it's also there's so many TNA books on the market that it's like, because I would keep buying these Dynamite books just to almost be like, see, I like this, and then it'd be like, all right, how many of these stories am I actually remembering?
It's funny that you said that because I could almost quote like every Marvel comic that I got in high school, junior high school, and even college. And I try to read 5 comics a day because I have a tremendous stack that's just accumulating to the ceiling.
I haven't been reading lately. It's bad.
But this week I haven't read any comics. I've been writing scripts and working and cleaning, but I can't remember.
Terrible. Like the last year, I've been terrible with comics. I've read 2 issues this month, and that's it so far.
Oh, you write down what issues you actually read?
Lately, the last couple of years I've been doing it, and it's been bad lately. Yeah,
I can't remember what I read a week ago. It's so bad. It's so bad. Now, I don't know if it's because of old age or it's just the comics aren't memorial, but, And that's one of the reasons why I push for crowdfunded comics to come out more frequently. Like I'm trying to.
I mean, I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to. Look, I would, if it were up to me, I'd be releasing as often as possible. But you know that it's all comes down to money. Motivation is there, baby. The ideas are there. And I also think, like, I'm glad I took as long as I did rewriting with issue 1. And I'm actually glad my artist and I are slowing down with issue 3 because we're introducing a lot of new characters. We want to make sure that they look visually right. He's drawing more action than he usually does. So it's actually okay that we slowed down a bit, but I would love to like speed up the process. And the fact of the matter is, you know, Claremont talked about it where, okay, if you look at even some of the best runs, they're not often perfect, but you know what? Chris Claremont was able to like rectify a lot of stuff he did. Now he did drop some plot lines. Like I'm doing a video. I want to do more deep dive videos into comics.
Are you going to do like forgotten plot lines in Chris Claremont's X-Men?
Oh, that would be fun. Oh my God.
Yeah. Let me know. Because that's been a pet peeve of mine for years.
Dude, wait, hold on. All right. You know what's one that, because sorry, let me get back to my point.
It's okay to be excited. It's okay.
I'm doing like, especially because I'm trying to get, I've been doing videos on the new Sonic movie because I really liked it and theorizing, and I'm like, I could do this with comics, and I want to just, I have all this energy. I'm like, I was always like, editing videos takes time because I'm perfectionist. I'm like, I don't actually have to do that much, really. I could just kind of talk. And honestly, people seem entertained by it on live streams, so I'm sure people be entertained by videos. And but I do want to do an edited video on Magic's backstory, especially with her gaining popularity and now having a series out. I think that'd be really good because most people don't know her history, and she has some crazy history. Yeah. And as I was going through, I was like, oh my God, they really left it dangling. Like I forgot how long it left dangling, like us not knowing what happened in Limbo. Like there was a long period of time where they don't know about the Soul Sword. She's kind of just palling around with Moira for like a solid like 10 issues. But anyway, one of the things I was going through when I was going through those issues, I was like, you remember Lee Forrester?
Yeah, that was the blonde girlfriend.
Yeah, what the hell happened to her?
They broke up.
And then she fucked Magneto.
Yeah, they broke up when he fought Magneto in that comic with the Cyclops shooting the octopus tentacle on the.
No, it was different. They broke up earlier than that.
Oh, they did.
The octopus tentacle was after the wedding.
Okay, but they broke up when they were on that island together.
Well, because they are together and then he meets Madeline Pryor and he's like, bye.
Right, yes.
You know, but then
funny because
and then Dean comes back and he's like, bye.
Excuse me. I've always had a thing for the lesser known girlfriends in comics. Like Lee Forrester, that's funny because
she was great.
She was one of my favorite girlfriends for Cyclops.
Yeah, and then she ends up with Magneto.
Debbie Whitman. Was that her name? Debbie Whitman was my favorite girlfriend for Spider-Man.
Really?
You know? Yeah, and she was. I don't know. I just like Debbie. She seemed like a regular girl. Nick brings up a good point. You know, the shipping. So yeah, especially when you live in Canada. Nick lives, I think, 3 miles away from the Arctic Circle, and to get comics shipped up there costs a lot of money. So I agree. It's one of the reasons why there's a few campaigns I just didn't back in it because realistically you got to add shipping to the cost of a comic, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's like I had a few people tell me, John, you know, I like your comic, but they'll probably wait till issue 3 and then get all 3 bundles. I can understand that, you know. But I said that's fine that you want to do that. But if you wait to issue 3, it might not happen, you know, if everybody waits till issue 3. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking it up, dude. Lee Forrester just disappears.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't appear again. So she and Magneto were a thing, and then she disappears before trial of Magneto, and we never see her again.
She started dating Magneto?
Yes, which is really weird.
It is weird.
It's really. I was like,
what did she just have a mutant fetish?
I guess because it's like Magneto tried to kill her ex-boyfriend. She protects him, and then goes. It's
right, and they were basically
on the island. I guess
they were basically on Cthulhu's island. You know,
which I was going through those issues. And for another video I want to make is because everyone talks about Magneto as a Holocaust survivor, but no one talks about that issue where it's revealed. 150, which we've been talking about. So I want to do a deep dive on that. I'd love to do more deep dive videos if I can. It's time in the day, man. And if I could promote my book. But I also think, I'll bring in some new people, just talking about comics and my love of storytelling, And it's also great is I have the 10-page preview on globalcomics.com. So you can go ahead and read the first 10 pages if you like it. You could buy the PDF of issue 1. You could buy issue 1 on my website, or you could back the campaign. We are less than $200 away from funded on issue 1. And if that happens, I'm going to reveal I'll get some champagne open and I'll reveal the
you can have
10K.
a gender reveal. You're going to let people know what you are.
Sure. What do you think, John?
I don't know. With that blonde hair, these days.
Yeah, you're right. Men don't have blonde hair.
You could be anything.
The female exclusive.
You could be anything your little heart wants it to be.
Thank you for being so supportive, John. Thank you for being so supportive.
Now it's fun. Phenomenova was a well-made comic. Your printing was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Your storytelling was good.
Thank you. A lot of practice, a lot of trial and error.
That's one of the things that I'm harsh with.
If the story doesn't make sense, and the most important thing too is I can forgive a slower story if I care about the characters. I can forgive nitpicks like I was thinking one of my favorite indie comics. I was thinking about it was like basically all set in one bathroom, and it was dialogue and like some fighting in it. I know it sounds like it's terrible, but it's actually like one of the best ones. It was Standstill. There was one of the issues. It was by Justin Gray, and one of the issues was basically all in one room.
Well,
and it was a fight.
I don't know
cared
the
about
comic,
characters.
but if you're talented and clever, you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I've been told I have an ear for dialogue by Mike Barron. So
good. I sent Mike Barron my comic, and he blocked me, so I don't know. No, I just he just got it on Monday. I want to wait before I pester him. What do you think? But
see, I didn't pester him. He goes, I read it. It's good. And I was like, can I get a quote?
It's funny. Let me ask you this question then, and I'll give you my answer. What was the weirdest criticism you got?
Mike S. Miller really was very insistent multiple times during the well-read review. If it was one, it would be fine, but he every time was like, yeah, maybe the kid dies, maybe the kid gets scarred, and it was every time. I'm like, oh my god. It was 3 or 4 separate occasions where he wanted a kid to die or get scarred or get brutalized.
The kid,
I was like, Mike, are you okay? Did
the main character, Galvanite, or just any kid?
He was like, what if the friend died in the lightning strike? I'm like, well, then it would be a depressing story. But
my weirdest criticism was your comic was good except for the race mixing. I was like, what comic did you read? I was like, what race mixing? What are you talking about? I was like, so I was just like, well, thank you for buying the comic. I didn't even know how to.
I don't think I have anything quite like that.
That was the weirdest criticism.
I don't, I'll have to get back to you. So far, I haven't had any really weird criticism. That one was me just messing around. But God, I don't think I've had anything too weird. A lot of it have been like, that's okay. I understand that. I like Smiller.
Yeah, I don't think he's being mean. I think he's probably just goofing around.
Yeah. And he also helped me with some art stuff in issue 2. He gave me some great constructive feedback.
That's a good. How do you find this? I hate the word community. How do you find this indie sphere? People, friendly, helpful, mean.
I try and stick to the people that are helpful. I'm always branching out, and it's kind of just I kind of learned to just. Once I stopped treating it, I don't want to say not treating it like a community, but once you start kind of trying to just appease the group and just, sell to fans and just be more individualistic, things actually, it's a much healthier outlook and much better, healthier outcome, in my opinion.
I could understand if you're going to start I guess chasing algorithms or whatever, you're never going to die.
Yeah.
You're never going to die. You're never going to be done is what I meant to say.
Yeah, no, I started chasing algorithms on YouTube, but lately I've just did a video on Sonic, and then the first one didn't do great, and then I did another because I just felt like doing it in a fit of passion, and then that popped off, and now I keep doing it. And I'm just going to kind of keep doing what I want.
Our comic was good except for the Italians. There's only one Italian, and he's half Italian. Patriarch is half Italian, half Irish, and his wife is American Greek. So I don't know if that means race mixing. I don't know. Are the Greeks not human or something? I don't know. Or maybe it's the Irish human. I don't know.
I don't think I had any like super strange criticism. A lot of it, I was like, oh, okay. Like, most of it, I'm like, I'm like, thank you for the criticism, especially if someone's going to take the time even to like privately message you and be like, hey, here's my thoughts. You could have improved on this. Like, I appreciate all of that.
Right. That is absolutely like, I got a lot of criticism. Most of it I agreed with. And I got one bad review. And even the person who gave me the bad review admitted the comic made sense. The art was good. The writing was good. The story made sense. But so I just asked, were you confused at any point? And they said, no, I was like, good. Because like I said, storytelling to me is, I think that.
Yeah, exactly. I can't stand, there are comics I've read where I'm like, what is happening? Even some 80s ones, I'm like,
oh yeah. Sometimes like the example I always give is Howard Chaykin's American Flag. But the thing is that comic is worth the work. It's such a good, beautifully done, innovative comic. But you can't just sit there and read it. You have to like almost take it apart and analyze it, because each panel is an individual image that almost has nothing to do with the panel beforehand. Have you ever read American Flag?
No.
It's a lot of work, but it's worth the work. Howard Chaykin is a legend for a reason, but man, it is just.
I've read. I got him to sign this one though.
Oh, cool.
His panel work is really good in this one.
I wonder if he was working with Marvel editors that were probably telling him what to do. American Flag. I think he did everything but the lettering.
Lettering too is super important, man. Super important.
Yeah, I love the lettering in my comic, man. It is like there's like stages. You write your script, you feel great, and then you see pages, and then colored pages. But when I saw it all lettered, because that's the way I don't know if you do it the same order as me. Write pencils, inks, colors,
letters.
It's like, oh my god, this is now a comic book.
It's great. I got to my lettering, and like I said, I'm getting lettering revisions now. I haven't been able to look at the notes yet, but it's basically done. Issue 2 is basically done. We just need to get it funded. We need to get it printed, and then look. Regardless, I'm not going to put it on hold until I get issue 3 funding. It's just the more people that buy issue 2, the more assurance I have.
I'm with you. I don't know if people are going to have a bad term, but I paid for issue number 1 of my comic out of my own pocket, and I raised enough money, and then that's the budget for issue 2.
That's what I did. Yeah.
So issue 2 is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I just hope that I, make enough to do issue 3, and even if I have to pay a little bit, I'll still.
Damn, looks like we're on the exact same.
Yeah, we almost launched the same day. You and I were
multiple times.
The second time I was just messing with you.
Oh, you fucker.
Hey, good morning from Tokyo. Oh, I didn't know you in Tokyo. How's Tokyo? I would love to go to Japan. Are you?
What are you doing talking to us while you're in Tokyo, man? Thank you for being here, though.
Are you with the youngins called a weeb? Are you fascinated with Japan?
I like some anime. I don't watch enough. There's never enough time in the day for everything, but I like a lot of stuff. Japan, they make some good stuff, man.
I would love to go to Japan, but I mean, I don't watch anime. I barely know manga, but I don't know. I'm just fascinated with like how different of a culture it is.
Yeah,
how different of a culture it is, but yet you could go there, and as an American, you're not going to be like attacked or spit on or anything like that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah,
the Japanese are a good people. Writing is a tricky topic. So is reading. Some like simple and straightforward. Others prefer intricate and complex. Personal preference tends to skew how people. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. Oh, absolutely.
One guy. Oh, here's another weird criticism I got, and I understand where he said my writing was too perfect, that it was almost like I forget exactly what he said, but the problem was my first issue was a lot of the patriarch thinking to himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the second issue is going to be more dialogue with other characters, but that was an interesting criticism. Take, like I said, absorb it, think about it, My son has been at. Oh, he went to Tokyo 3 times. Hey guys, sorry for the DM. I didn't know you were screen. Oh, that's okay, Oscar. Oscar is. He's penciling out the first page for Eddie is Doomed, another comic that I'm working on, and it's so much fun to see Oscar drawing this. It's so exciting. It's happening. It's happening, Vaughn. It's happening.
Good stuff, man.
So let me ask you this now. You got Phenomenova, and that's your comic. That is your world. These are all your characters. Does anybody else own these characters? This is all your from your
all mine. I made sure under contract that these are all my characters.
Now,
legally,
do you have any like other different comics, other worlds, or anything else?
Yeah, my 10-pager was a short story with this female like bombshell gunslinger in the West, which I would love to do a full book on. That one, if I had started with that, I might have made more money than Phenomenova, but my heart was in Phenomenova.
So
I have other ideas, but I'm really focused on the Phenomenova world right now, and Phenomenova specifically.
That character is called Gunslinger, and that's the name.
No,
of the comic?
she's no, her name is Lyra Lawless. The comic is called Land of the Lawless. I would love to do the 10 pages because it was published in the back of a trade paperback for a book called Tragedy. But I would love to. I own the 10 pages. I would love to just publish it on my my website.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, publish
on Global Comics.
Write another 20-page story and make a 30-page.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna make a full book out of it at some point. It's just right now, again, I'm focused on Phenomenova, and
right.
Before I'm not gonna just be building up hype for Phenomenova, then drop it and go here. My goal is to keep it going, and I also once Phenomenova is set, like issue 3 is my next priority, and once I'm confident in continuing that course, like once I'm really confident in that, then I could launch my next IP, which would be either Land of the Lawless, which again I'm gonna drop that 10-pager at some point this year, within maybe this month, or no, probably not this month, but in the coming months. Maybe we'll see. Maybe this or next month, but whatever. Or Crusader Corps. Everyone wants the prequel to Phenomenova.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the first things I got, which the fact that people are already requesting a spinoff, one issue in.
So if anybody's
I want it already. I was already had talked about it on stream.
If anybody's watching this, you could bid on that comic that Vaughn just sneezed all over, and he'll mail it to you.
I sneezed here, didn't I? Fucker. Spreading fake news. The video will contradict your bullshit story.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, I have so many ideas. Like I have 10 scripts and various pieces of writing. Some of them are done, some of them are ideas, some of them are outlined. And I keep wanting to jump around. No, this story's more important. I want to do I hope we get cloning technology so we can clone a couple of Renzos and get more comics out.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe we could graft other arms to him, but he could draw like 3 comics at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That's cool. So you got other things. Land of the Lawless is a great title.
Yeah, that one I liked.
Yeah.
Wasn't it originally Lawless that was taken? So Land of the Lawless. Let's see. I could maybe see if I could pull something up. But yeah. Phenomenova is where right now, like the fact that people want the next one. I want my Uncanny X-Men, if you will, to be Phenomenova. Like I'd love to eventually have the running plot line. Like I have 8 issues in my first story arc, and then I have plans for like 20 or so. And I'd love to eventually be hiring fill-in artists, but I could go hundreds, man. I have so many ideas, but obviously I need to quiet down.
The first 10 issues of the Patriarch story are leading up to something. The individual stories, you could buy the comic, read the comic, and enjoy the comic. But if you get them all, read them all. I'm hoping it pays. Just like the Marvel movies, you could watch Ant-Man and like Ant-Man, but if you watch them all, you'll pick up stuff.
Yeah, or like the comics. Yeah, no, this is that's kind of what I wanted to do with. Well, that's what I want to do with the series. Like Crusader Corps, you'll be able to read on its own. Phenomenova, you'll be able to read on its own, but they're better enhanced by each other. Oh yeah, everyone's loving. He's the fan favorite. He's in 2 pages of the book, and Dark Cloud is the fan favorite.
Oh, that's what Student of God is talking about. The villain.
I assume so, unless he's talking about a different villain.
Yeah. People seem to like your villain. a good villain makes the book, you know.
Yeah, he's my favorite issue that I've written is the one where I reveal his backstory. It was my favorite, and then when I rewrote the issue, it's still my favorite. And when I revise again, it'll probably still be my favorite. I've written the first 8. Even when I wrote original drafts way back when, most of them I was like, ugh. And there were definitely some scenes I was like that with, but there were scenes I was like, man, I was cooking. These were good.
Yeah. I was talking today. I got a new partner at work today, and he shows up with a hard hat with Marvel character stickers all over it and everything like that. So it just seems like, oh, you're a comic book guy. You're working with John. So, you know, we will. I could get technical to explain what we were doing, but basically we were splicing wires, and he was in one panel and I was in the other. So, you know, we're just talking back and forth all day long, talking about comics and stuff. And he asked me, he goes, is your character in your comic book like super powerful? Like, can you fight Superman? And I was like, God, he can fight Superman. He ain't gonna win, but he can fight Superman. Anybody could fight Superman. And he was just like, oh, that's good, because like I think, and this guy's, you know, he's a comic book reader. He's not making comic. He goes, but I think like if you're coming out and making the most powerful character, then I think you're not focused right. So what do you think about that?
I'm kind of like, I've always had that mentality. My characters are always built with limitations into them. In fact, I find my characters are better when they are more grounded. My idea was always, even back before it was called Phenomenova, back before it was like a bigger universe, when it was just my idea for a series of movies, it was always my thing was, you can have multiple characters, but powers, but they had to be connected to each other. Right. Was my whole thing. You had to explain, well, how does this connect to this? So lightning and super speed connected to me naturally.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And that was my whole thing, is the character. I don't want a grab bag of powers. They have to be somewhat connected. Generally speaking, I mean, there could be exceptions to the rule. There will definitely be exceptions to that rule, but generally speaking, when I come up with characters, they try to have powers that are connected to one another. Yeah, lightning, super speed, and the ability to control orangutans. You know what I mean? Like, one of these things is not like the other. Yeah. And that's what I was literally just before this explaining to my artist. I was like, this is how this one character's powers work. And even then, there's some details where I'm like, is this too disconnected from this?
Logic Finest has got a question that just leads into what you just said. Is Vaughn the writer, artist, and inker and colorist? Just curious. So more things you could do to yourself, save time. So tell them what's the staff on your comic?
So I am the writer. I write. Basically, I wrote and created the story. I'm the publisher. Like, these are all my characters. I come up with them, and then I have my artists design them. My artist is the penciler and the inker, and he did most of the character designs too. Most of the designs in general. There were some exceptions. You know, I hire out for basically everything else, but I'm the overall production manager. I'm the publisher, and I'm the writer, creator. It's me. Right. And yes, I am painfully aware of how much money I could save.
Yeah. The thing is, nobody wants to buy a comic book drawn by me. So I don't even want a comic book drawn.
Yeah, I don't want a comic book. No. My artists.
Hey, Emily, how you doing?
How you doing?
So what do you said this comic is mostly done, and your campaign is live right now. How do you think you'll be delivering?
I'd love to deliver sometime in March or later April. Yeah, it's going to be a fast one, fast turnaround.
Oh, there you go.
So that's why now is a good time to back, ladies and gentlemen, because if you forget, you'll miss out on all those beautiful variant covers. You'll miss out on those trading cards. You missed out on the day one trading card already, but there's one trading card guaranteed. And if we hit 10K, there'll be more. The more goodies here, let's put it this way: the more people that back, the more goodies you guys get. So you guys are helping each other out and yourselves out by promoting the book, by sharing it when you back. That is always a huge help. Stuff like that is always a huge help.
So this is your campaign page over on Fund My Comic right now. This is issue 2. I could play the trailer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is embiggen that, and then hit that, and hit that.
I just want it to be like the Crusader Corps. Like my father. I thought with my new powers I could be. But I failed. I let everyone down. I got people hurt. I just wanted to make the world a better place. And instead I made things worse. But now I have the chance to make things right with the help of one of the Crusader Corps. The Phoenix section. And I will. I have to. Whatever it takes. I will find that spark again.
So I'm gonna just scroll down the campaign page. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. So here, this is your main cover,
That is my main cover.
and this is Phoenix. What's the character?
The Phoenix Senshi.
Phoenix.
Senshi.
Yeah.
Warrior.
And she, if I remember correctly, Galvanite just gets his powers last issue, and he's a youngin, and he's kind of impetuous, and now he's going for actual training. So this
Yes.
is like Empire Strikes Back. Yoda's going to come and tell him how to use his powers.
Correct. So he messed up so miserably. She needs to basically whoop him into shape. She is one of the veteran superheroes who fought during World War III. We learned her backstory and why she as a teenager entered the war. She was a teenage hero, and he kind of thought, well, I could be too. And you'll see why she was better prepared.
She had the moxie.
There's more to it than that.
I know. I'm just being
no, but yeah, that is part of it. Mel Ruby covers the first comic I ever worked on. I was an editor on a book called Hunter Ninja Bear, and I
just read that.
Yeah,
It's really good, except for the editing.
Yeah, I get that. I hear that's a common complaint, specifically the second editor.
I enjoyed it. I'm just teasing you.
So Mel Ruby, who's the artist on that, did this color. He penciled, inked, and colored it.
Cool.
I had wanted to work with Mel, and there was a ninja girl in it, and I've been itching for Hunter Ninja Bear 2, and I'm like, well, since we're not getting that anytime soon, Mel, come on here and draw it. And Mel is an artist who I really want to work with again. He's a great guy, great artist, does stellar work always.
Yeah, Hunter Ninja Bear had great art. I really like it.
Yeah, I had never, he was the first comic I ever edited had his art, and I had never heard of him. And I was like, I'm going out. And I bought some of his Red Sonja stuff because I was like, this is just.
Oh, I didn't know he did Red Sonja. I got to check that out.
Yeah, I've read some of it.
So here we got another cover. Who did this cover?
That would be Mariano Chapo, who just did a Vampirella book for like the holiday special. It's called the Holiday Special. So I was actually gonna hire him for a more of like a cheesecake kind of cover, and then I was like, he showed me this thumbnail. I was like, no, this is awesome, and so killed it. And this colorist, Nick Capone, who did this, he also colored the Dark Cloud trading card mini print. He colored the Day One trading card, and he colored the trading card that you'll unlock at the funding goal. So he's colored a lot of stuff for me, this guy, Nick. And then Mariano, another great artist. Kubert, both these guys are Kubert School grads. Did this cover. And
here we got, what is this?
Dawn Draws. That's the Dawn Edwards cover. That one is a Fun My Comic exclusive.
There you go. Yeah, Don's a great guy. Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah. That's great. You hired him to do a cover. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then there's the back cover. We had a grayscale cover that was, my buddy came with an homage to Bloodstrike. And I was like, we were like, what do we do for this one? He came with another black and white cover, and he was like, we made a grayscale. So I'm not sure if every cover is going to be grayscale on the back, but we're 2 for 2. And so far it's been great.
Cool.
Same artist and grayscale, so we might stick with that.
And this is the interior artwork, so you know you're not getting scammed with some crummy interior art.
No, different colorist, but same artist.
Yeah, this looks good.
I had to switch, and I know how much everyone loved Jesse, who did the first issue. I think we're gonna bring him back for issue 3, but he just couldn't make the deadline. He couldn't. He was busy for like 4 months, so I couldn't. I was like, I want to get right into it.
Oh yeah. It's getting a team of comic book people together is like herding cats.
It is. It's a lot. But now that I'm sticking with the same team as much as I can, because I want to. And it's also, speaking of, I will say fan art contests, these are great. And I keep an eye on people who submit for this, even if you don't end up winning, you're in my memory, Yep. So submitting is, you get your chance to be in the back of the book like this guy. And immediately I hired Brett, who did that, the fan art, to do a trading card. I would love
people sent me fan art for my comic, and one of the guys I want to hire at one point to you know what I mean? So yeah.
It's good. It's also just good practice. You get eyes on your work. I'll make sure to retweet and whatever. And you will get a free copy of the book if you win, of course, with the main cover.
Cool.
I would still back the book anyway. That way you get more copies. And hey, you'll be able to sign them at cons. You'll be able to. And you can
get the first issue. I think that's so important, because, I know for a fact that some people like, I'm going to back your comic number 2 because they didn't know if I was going to deliver. They didn't know
yes.
So I know some people like, will I be able to get issue 1 when issue 2 comes out? It's like, dude, you can still get issue number 1 right now if you want.
Yeah.
But they want to save on shipping. I understand.
Yeah, I know. That's why I have both options. You can get it right now from my website, or you could get it there. Marcus, if you use #Phenomenova fan art, you can submit it then.
So who's this guy with this real ugly baby?
That's actually not me. So
now I feel bad.
So what's funny? I could have lied to you and said it, but it actually isn't me. But if it was, oh shit, John, I should have done that when it was a picture of me in the last book. I should have been like, that's not me. That's my cousin. No, but this actually isn't me. This is my sister. But that is my Uncle Scott, who so he and my dad both worked together. And initially I couldn't fit a character based on him in issue 1. Issue 1, it was just a natural extension of the story, and actually made the story better by adding the dad character. I think significantly better by adding that sympathetic motivation to the main character and really reinforcing the idea of heroism. And I was like, well, it just was muddying it if he was like, oh, I also had a brother in issue 1. So I was like, I want to, and then I was like, all right, well, if I find a way to naturally in issue 2, because issue 2 was always down to the core. It was always it's kind of a meditation mixed with training, in a sense that it's like we're diving further into Miles's character and his past, as well as Senchi's together, while introducing some new characters and having some action. But I was like, if I could find a way to make it work, and I kind of put it out here, and I was like, it would be really nice if I could get this in there. But again, it has to fit. And I found a place, and it was like, fit perfectly. So there's a character based off of my uncle who shows up, and it does fit into him. So while issue 1 was dedicated to my dad, issue 2 is dedicated to my uncle.
Okay. And these are stretch goal cards?
So that was that one's technically not a stretch goal, the day 1, but I just put it in anyone. That was for anyone who backed physical day 1. They got that trading card.
Okay.
Then there is the hotline trading card, which everyone gets. I want there to be something that no matter what, if you back the book physically, in addition to getting it before everyone else.
This character's name is Hotline?
Hotline, yes, which I think is perfect.
I obviously I didn't read your comic yet, but let me guess. Because you're good with the names. So Hotline, let me guess. She's like an Oracle character?
Yes.
Perfect name. I love when the names, you know me by now, and I'm sure Mark.
I hate when the names don't fit also.
The names have to be the folk Hotline. And she's a hot chick. So there you go.
So initially her name wasn't that, and initially she wasn't hot, but she was an Indian tech support chick. And I was like, this character sucks. Let me revise her and make her. And I was like, Hotline. I came with the name, and I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. At first I was like, well, is she technically a hotline? I'm like, yeah, she is actually. Because that is, I was like, well, is that kind of a stretch? No.
When you're sitting there on the phone, being the tech guy, you got to wear like a sexy midriff showing outfit, you know.
Of course, of course. It's comic
Like
book.
I said, a little TNA never hurt nobody. That's a great name for a character, and that, believe it or not, that kind of stuff makes me excited. I don't know. Do you know Dojo Kun?
Yes.
He had a comic, and you know it didn't fund. His names were spot on, and I was so excited to read about these characters. You know, so I hope he proceeds in whatever he says. He's going to try a different strategy. So, all right. So, what are your rewards over here? Let's see. I'm scrolling up. Sorry if I'm making everybody dizzy, but here we go.
Really, it's pretty simple. There's 4 covers for issue 2. There's digital copies of issues 1 and 2, and then there's also physical for 1. And every reward is some combination of those.
Okay. Yeah, keep it simple, stupid. You know what I mean? I think
that's what I decided to do. Just keep it simple. You can get any combination of anything, really.
Good. There you go. I for my campaign for issue number 1 for Heroic Tales, I like I said, I had Nick Axe, who's in the chat, doing he built it, and I was just like, let's keep it simple. He did it really good. And then when all my campaigns closed, I brought everything to fund my comic. And I think it's a little complicated now, but I'm just going to keep it up because I'll close that down when I do the next campaign. John isn't forthcoming about not wearing any. Oh no, I'll tell you, I'm not wearing pants, guys. I full transparent. No, I'm wearing this. My wife bought me this like hoodie thing because I'm always complaining about being cold because I work outside. I love it's like being in bed walking around. This thing goes down to my ankles. I freaking love it. So even if I wasn't wearing pants, which I am, you wouldn't be able to tell. And now Vaughn's like, why am I on this guy's channel? But over to Down to the Core comic book. Oh, that's the tag, Down to the Core. That's
yes. Lightning Strikes. Then issue 2 is Down to the Core.
Okay, cool. I'm all about.
He's digging down into the core of his character. He's kind of like, I really like that when you're rediscovering his powers. He's kind of having a crisis of he can't really use his powers anymore because he feels so awful about what happened in issue 1, and you learn that he caused some more problems.
Right.
You know, you may learn, like, you're going to keep learning. He made some more mistakes than he realized.
Well, also,
and now he's like
the guy's
man, and he's just like, now he has to relearn it's kind of like relearning how to use his powers and get to the core of both his powers and why he wants to be a superhero and who he is as a person. He's digging down. It's kind of like a meditation and let's do a character study on him before we get back up.
I know you'll agree with me on this, but like Cyclops, you know, everybody uses a stick in the mud. Cyclops is just a guy who's very responsible up until he became a deadbeat dad. But up until that point, he was a guy who was very aware that he could destroy things by losing control of his powers, you know. And I always liked and admired that about him, you know. And Galvanite was a kid who freaking shoots lightning. Like, lightning ain't no joke, you know.
Yeah.
So
and no one.
I like that he's dealing with consequences to a power that is a fundamental force of nature, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably ask you some practicality questions.
Oh, I was just gonna ask you now. Could you just throw water on him and short circuit him and defeat him?
Well, you would get mad at me, right? That's not how it works, right?
That's not how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't planned on doing that anyway, but not because of scientific knowledge. You know, I just didn't. I
don't know what this question's all about, but
all right. It's a joke from my stream. None of them. I'm not going there.
It's funny because I since I said like all the Chuck Norris stuff is so cringy, it's like I can't. This is like the only video I made without people asking Chuck Norris questions. I'm like, oh God, come on, guys, enough's enough. So I at 8 o'clock sharp, I got to be on another channel. So I'm shorting Vaughn a couple of minutes there. But
wow, dude,
I know
this is unreal, man. Honestly,
it's yeah. But anything you want to talk about that I didn't bring up? Anything you want to mention? How much you can eat in one sitting? You want to bring that up?
I ate like a lot before I came on here. Actually, so a good amount of meatloaf. I don't think so. Just subscribe to my channel if you guys aren't subscribed already. You know, we've been going. I think I set my goal too high because I gained like a ton of subscribers really quickly because of my Sonic videos, and I think it got too cocky. And I was like, oh, if it continues at this rate, yeah. If it continued at that rate, but it's That's not how life works. It's just like backer numbers. Like, oh my God, look how many I got. That doesn't mean you're going to get that many. But I've been lucky. I got at least one backer every day. And the only day that I didn't go up a full 1%, there was like 2 days. But otherwise, I've been getting at least one backer every day. At this rate, we should be funded soon. Obviously, if you guys want to speed up the process, feel free to back. And yeah.
Yep. So cool. So we'll shut it down because I'm sure that the other guys want to talk to me before we go live. So I like your comic. I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you. And I hope to continue. I'm a better writer in issue 2 than I was in 1, even though it's hard. I don't know if I'd say it's a better issue. It depends. It depends on what you think. I think in terms of technical skill, I am a better writer, but issue 1 is literally, it's almost triple the size. So it's not a fair comparison.
Oh, so how many pages is this?
24, which is why it's half the price.
Okay.
Cheaper book. And again, you could get digitally too. So I want it as easy as possible for people to get.
Yeah, a lot. I didn't want to do digital because I'm an old fart, but people like, dude, I live in Ireland. I don't want to pay $40.
It's also, you don't have to worry about printing costs with that.
Now I like it. I get a sale. I'm like, all right, it's digital.
Yeah, easy. Now it's like I don't have to worry, like doing, because I realized, especially when I was doing the budget for issue 2, I was like, oh my God, how much money am I spending just on physical products? Imagine if it was just digital. And I just went, done.
Yeah.
No variant covers. I don't have to pay for that. Don't have to pay for anything. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, but it'd be cheaper on the wallet.
Yeah.
If I could just do uploaded. There you go.
I still think the majority of comic book people want a comic book.
That's what it's showing, at least in terms of campaign numbers. I've read most of Claremont's run digitally just because it was cheaper, and easier. But I read a lot of stuff physically. Anyway, I know you got to get going.
All right, just one last question I want to ask you. I got the original Claremont comics when they came out on the newsstand because I'm older than the average bear, and you're reading them. Are they recolored? And if they're recolored, have you seen the original colors? And if you've seen the original colors, which one do you prefer? So that's 3 questions. One question.
I don't know if they're recolored.
Okay, well, that's easy. Because, when I see like old Marvels from like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and then they're in an omnibus, they're always recolored with digital color, and it just don't look right to me. It just
I don't know. I've liked the look of them, but maybe
because
I could pull these up. Well, actually, I guess these are a reprint. The thing is, it's hard to tell also because most of the old comics are faded that I have, so I don't know what they look like when you were reading them.
Yeah. Well, all right. Okay. We got Zaid Comics over here. How you doing, Zaid?
Going on, Phil?
Good to see you. Just in time to say goodbye. Goodbye, Zaid. So I'm going to be over on Godfoe's channel if you want to see me. Are you going to be doing anything else tonight?
I'm either going to be joining that or I might be doing my own stream later. Okay. We'll see. But,
and then tomorrow's Friday. Who do I have tomorrow? Tomorrow at 7:00. I have Jeffrey Nelson. He has a comic. I don't think he's on Twitter. And then at 8:30, I'm doing It's Clobbering Time. Batman villain Clayface versus Spider-Man villain Sandman. So
that's a good one.
Yeah, I legit don't know who's gonna win that fight. I really got every time I do It's Clobbering Time. My wife goes, "Who's gonna win?" And I was like, I don't know this time. I don't know. People. I hope people join in and give a good argument. All right, but I gotta go. I'll pontificate forever.
Right.
Good luck, and come back.
We'll do
whatever you want. And we get a Chuck Norris. We get a Chuck Norris comment at the end. Just thank you for the Chuck Norris comment. All right, bye.
See you.